Here we are at the brick in its completed form, as the blank slate that we like to think it is, with just enough of a personal touch to make it different, unique, cool in and of itself, but also very capable to suit any of your needs or decorating wishes. Pretty crazy to think that originally it was a meat packaging facility, and more recently a enzyme research laboratory. And as such, actually there were quite a few partition walls and changes in elevation in the concrete floor and different films on the windows that made it very difficult to use as was. We had to do quite a bit of demolition work in order to kind of just open the space completely back up, bring it back to its original giant rectangle of a building, and restore it so that you guys can have maximum space within here. We put in a whole new concrete floor, which we love, and again brings in that kind of modern industrial feel, but while still adding our touches, such as our quintessential chandeliers and Edison bulbs. So light has always been like a major factor in Corey and I in our decorating. This being daytime right now, we have so much of the natural light, which is beautiful, but in the evening, really not much of it. So we wanted to kind of just add enough twinkle and ambiance to make it feel really special for whatever event you're holding here. We are currently standing on the small mezzanine, as we've called it, which is an original piece of architecture that we just decided to keep from the main space, as it just provides people with a little bit of options as far as how you want to utilize the entire space. Gives a little bit of sense of intimacy if you have the doors down, or as you will soon see, opens it up. Enjoyed from below or above. Just a few thoughts on what we've done outside here. We wanted to kind of maintain what we loved about the building to begin with, which was the fact that it was just a brick factory space. We loved the simplicity of it. We couldn't quite get our hands on any original photos to kind of know how to restore it. But oddly enough, since we've finished it, we've had some people come forward who used to work here and show us images of the entry, and it's crazy how similar they are. In fact, these light fixtures here we found on Etsy. I believe they came from a high-rise, I want to say in Chicago possibly, if not New York, and it turns out the original fixtures looked eerily similar to the ones we got them replaced with, so that's kind of a cool thought. So tying in some of our local economy, we had someone suggest to us, again, I'd found these hardware, door hardware on eBay, thought they were cool, have since come to learn that they are actually intended for the main door of an RV, which is clearly, something we do quite a bit of here in the Michiana area, namely Elkhart. So we had a person locally make us some new acrylic, and whereas before when I purchased them they said Ferguson etched in the resin, we had someone repurpose them and make them say the brick, and at night these actually glow and light up, which is just one of those things we didn't even know was a possibility until we found out what their original purpose was and were able to incorporate it into our space. So we are currently out on the deck, just outside the bar here at the brick. We really wanted to capture one of the highlights of this site, one of the reasons that Corey and I were most drawn to it initially, because truly location is everything. And with the YMCA as our neighbor, as well as the farmers market, we couldn't have asked for a better location, if only to say that the river is directly in front of us and the railroad tracks are directly overhead. We really wanted to create this deck to capitalize on the views we have of the St. Joe River, as well as the train tracks overhead. And in order to do so, we have the large overhead doors to allow people to come out here and hopefully enjoy a cocktail hour or a meal in and of itself, or simply for a photographer to take some great pictures with the best backdrop we like to think locally. It's not quite done yet, but the piers are up, and soon enough there will be, twinkling lights overhead and curtains and a nice sense of ambiance so that you can enjoy your evening or your day here at the Brick. We're currently actually standing in the cooling bay of the original Eckrich meat processing plant. It was actually where they packaged Eckrich meats back in the 30s. So this was a cooler. We've since painted it black. The existing loading dock doors are gone, but we kept their tracks, and we've put in glazed overhead doors to kind of let the outside in and the inside out. We've added our own touches as far as the new countertop and the new bar, and again, mixing the old with the new. This is a beautiful man-made concrete countertop done by a local artisan called Concrete House, which is awesome, Mark Rankus. And then the bar itself is actually made from recycled timbers that were used as supports in one of the old factories downtown. And when they were tearing down the building, we actually had a neighbor of ours salvage them, and he's been keeping them, and we could see them from our lot, and finally made our way over there and said, "What are you planning on doing with those? Could we take a few?" So that's exactly what we did, but we wanted to just make it look as simple as possible. So we literally just stacked one on top of the other, making sure to still show the end cuts of these, because it's exactly what I fell in love with, as far as it's crazy to see how old these trees were in order to have such a thick diameter, and just the history in just, what my hands are touching, I just find amazing. And the fact we were able to reuse it locally and have it turn into something else completely than what its original purpose was is pretty awesome. Speaking of which, this back bar is also a repurposed item. When we initially designed this whole bar space, I had kind of thought up a different way of doing the back bar. I thought it would look very similar to our side bar with kind of industrial pipe fittings and reclaimed wood. And we actually had a friend from the South Bend Heritage Company suggest taking a look at this old bar that was in a place called Boozy's Bar on Lincoln Way at the time, but wasn't being used. So my husband went and take a look at it. Turns out it's the old Bridget McGuire's back bar, which was and still is in some of Notre Dame's alumni's minds a quintessential piece of history in and of itself. It was a bar that was destroyed my sophomore year, I believe, in college, but had been at the 5 Point intersection and a big hit with the younger crowd at Notre Dame. So I had no idea it did look like this or does look like this, but once we laid eyes on it, we thought we have to have it. It's gorgeous. It's actually quite in keeping with our theme, and that, being Art Deco and Machinist age, and it was in surprisingly good condition given its history and how many times it's been moved. But we also had to kind of basically entirely rebuild the bottom of it. But it was complete with these are individual cylinders of glass, all of which were here and not broken when we got it. We put in new mirrors in the back of it, but otherwise outfitted it with some new lights. It's just been amazing that we've been able to, again, restore and keep locally some awesome piece of history, and hopefully it will have a new history here at the Brick as time goes on. So here was another cooler of the original factory, which we wanted to maintain again, complete with this door and metal interiors. We decided to put the restrooms as the other kind of back of house within the coolers. but wanted to kind of give them some character of their own. So the men's is over here, the ladies is in here. I'll have you come and join me for the wow factor, as I like to say, as you come into the women's room. We didn't want it to be completely industrial, so if the ladies could have a little bit of glam, I figured this would be the place to do it. So as you walk in, you're kind of hit in the face with our gold glam Shazam, if you will. I had a lot of fun in here, as you can tell. I'm still having a lot of fun in here. It's not quite done. I don't know if I'll ever be completely done with it, but for now, I'll let you see it as it is. Maintaining this kind of gold theme, we thought it would pop really well with the black shellacked walls. We have kind of a gold sparkle type countertop with gold antique mirrors. My friend and I actually upholstered these doors ourselves. And yes, they are covered head to toe in a DuPont spray so that they should be water resistant, as I've had a few people be concerned about, but they are, crystal knobs and all. But the fun part is opening the door to the complete Shazam wow factor, which is our gold bathrooms. I actually really wanted to even bedazzle the toilet, but was told that might be a bit much. So each of the bathrooms actually has its own theme. They each have their own custom chandelier, again, made by yours truly, and its own animal head hook, so you can hang up whatever you need. These are actually practical animals. They're not just here to spy on you as you use the loo. Now we are in the men's room, where we did decide to stick with the industrial theme and keep it completely sterile and hopefully hose downable, with the metal walls and the cooler ambiance. So we were able to infuse some warmth with wood touches, as well as the kind of warmed bronze and other things, but for the most part, the men could keep it real, if you will. Our stalls bring in some of the wood. My husband was adamant that we still maintain a drink rail up there if people need to put their drinks down while they use the restroom. And we even have the urinals over here, with our privacy screen being part of one of the reclaimed doors from the cooler. And then again, one of those quirky touches we like to add being the mirror here, which is actually kind of a test as far as stage fright goes, if you will. You can see out, but on the other side it's just a mirror, so there might be a very good chance that while you are using the said lavatory, there might be a woman directly outside staring you in the face, not knowing she's doing so because she's actually seeing if she has something in her teeth. So, in case it's a little too much to ask of you, we have another one back there. So, this is the men's lavatory. Currently in the back of house of the brick. This is what you as a renter would kind of use as your setup, prep, takedown space to kind of keep your personal belongings, or just to give the caterers and decorators a place to store their stuff. We don't actually have a functioning kitchen. We do have a warming kitchen, which is over here, and you are allowed at the brick to use a caterer of your choice. We have recommendations of some great ones on our website, but if you just wanted to have mom cook her famous lasagna, you're capable to do that and bring it in. If you wanted to have a tailgate style barbecue in the parking lot, you're also welcome to do that. So here is the warming kitchen over here. Back here we also have the storage of all of our chairs and tables. We do have 30 round tables, 60-inch round tables, and currently 100 clear resin chairs to use. This then would be the personal space for just you to use in whatever capacity you see fit. If you just needed more hanging space, if you're a bride and wanted a place to do your makeup, if you're a bride and wanted to make sure that your groom showed up, we have another one of those one-way mirrors that you can see everyone arriving before they can see you. And just a place to kind of unwind, put everything that you don't want to have to think about until the very end of the night. It's your storage space, your haven, if you will. And then just in case you didn't want to be out and use those fabulous bathrooms I already showed you, this would be the back of house restroom, lovingly called the loo. So I hope you enjoyed your virtual tour of the Brick. If you have any further questions, which I'm sure you do because I can't ever remember all the questions people ask when I'm doing it in person, but feel free to look on the website because I know a lot of the more detail-oriented questions should be answered there. And should you need anything else, don't be afraid to stop on by or give us a call or an email. So thanks so much.